Hi everyone! Today we're going to talk about how to use the Descope Framer plugin to add authentication to your Framer site in minutes. I've already built out a site using the Gardener template, and now we just have to add authentication to it. It's a simple two-page site. We have our homepage over here, and we have a blog. Let's see how we can use the plugin to quickly add authentication to our Framer site and stop unauthenticated users from accessing most of the content on the page as well as the blog. First thing I'll do is open up the plugin over here, go to Browse All, and search Descope. Now that I've launched the plugin, there are a couple configuration items I have to fill out. I'll go to the settings page of the Descope console to retrieve my project ID and enter it here. The redirect URL is where we'll send our users if an unauthenticated user tries to access a protected page. For now, I'm going to send the user to the home page of our website, so I'll enter that URL here. I don't have a custom domain configured in Descope, so I'll leave the custom base URL blank, but I did set up a custom Google provider so that I can add one tab to my site as well. So I'll set that name here. Now I can copy the code snippet here to set up my overrides. Go to Assets, click Code, and create a new code override file called Descope Auth. I'll just paste in everything from there, and I can see that my project ID, my Google provider ID, and my redirect page have been populated. Now back on my home page, I'll open up the Descope plugin again, just clicking Run Recent Plugin, and I'll go to the Components tab. I want to insert a flow component so I can add simple magic link and social login to my site. Before I do that, I'll have to configure it in the Descope console. To get started quickly, I'll start from a template, select social login and magic link as my authentication methods, and use this flow. Looks good to me, so I'll click Use Template. I'll copy the ID and hit Create. I'll tweak some of the wordings on this welcome screen. Prompting the user to sign in to view our full offerings. And I'll remove this extra text here and save. Now I'm going to adjust the styles to make it match our brand. I can drag and drop my Zen Gardener logo, and then I'll set my primary colors. I know my hex value over here, so I'll set that for both light and dark mode. Then I know that my font on my website is closest to Fig Tree, so I'll set that here and hit Apply. Now I can go back to my Framer project editor, enter the flow ID for the flow we just chose from the template library, and hit Insert Flow Component. I can drag this into this container that I've set for the flow to sit on. Now that we've added our authentication flow, we can add the overrides to ensure that only authenticated users are accessing the components and pages we want them to. The first thing I'll do is go into my header over here and apply the code override for the logout button so that the user has a way of logging out after they've logged in. Then, because I only want authenticated users to be able to access different pages, I'm going to hide the menu bar by applying the protected component override over here. Back on my home page, I only want this section to be visible to unauthenticated users, so I'm going to apply the protected component override on the other sections of the page. I'm also going to go to my botanical blog and in the bottom right, add the code override for protected page, since I don't want unauthenticated users to be able to view my blog. Finally, I'll add the override for the one-tap page on my home page so that unauthenticated users will be able to log in with Google One Tap. And that's it. I'll hit Publish. As you can see, now when I go onto our Zen Gardener site, we have this one-tap pop-up over here, as well as our authentication flow. When I scroll down, the rest of the content isn't visible to me because we put the protected component override on it. When I try going to the botanical blog, it automatically redirects me back to that redirect page, which is the homepage that we set for our Zen Gardener website. I can sign into Zen Gardener with just one click using one tap over here. And once I'm verified, I'm able to view the rest of the content. If I go ahead and log out, these pop-ups come back up. Let's go through the authentication flow and see that experience as well. I'll simply enter my email, hit continue, and then I'll get a link in my email to continue. Here it is. And now I'm authenticated. As you can see, adding authentication to your Framer app is as simple as dragging and dropping a flow component onto your page and applying a couple of overrides. You can use the Descope plugin to very quickly add authentication to your Framer site without having to write any code at all.